In the world of structural engineering, there is a golden rule that no amount of money or technology can break. Concrete takes time to cure. You can use the most expensive cement, the strongest steel reinforcement, and the most skilled labor force in the world. But if you strip the wooden forms away before the concrete is chemically ready, the building will eventually crack. It doesn't matter how much the developer screams at you or how much you want to finish the project ahead of schedule. Nature has its own clock. If you try to cheat time, time will eventually destroy you. When I transitioned from the construction site to the trading desk, I forgot that fundamental law. I brought with me a modern disease that affects almost every newcomer in this game. It is the third enemy on our 60-day journey, and it is perhaps the most subtle and pervasive of all. It is impatience. Impatience doesn't arrive with the dramatic cold shiver of fear, nor does it carry the burning heat of greed. Instead, it arrives as a restless, uncomfortable itch in your bones. It's that nagging feeling you get when you've been sitting in front of the screen for 3 hours, and the market hasn't given you a single valid signal. Your eyes are tired, your mind is starting to wander, and a quiet voice begins to whisper, "Do something. Anything. Don't just sit here wasting time. You're a trader, and traders are supposed to be clicking buttons." This is the silent killer. It thrives on the modern obsession with hustle and the false belief that constant activity equals productivity. In a traditional 9-to-5 job, if you sit at your desk and do nothing for 8 hours, you feel like a failure. But in the world of professional trading, doing nothing is often the hardest and most valuable work you will ever perform. I remember sitting in my room during my first year, watching the price candles move back and forth in a tight, boring range. I felt like I was wasting my life while everyone else was getting rich. That itch became so unbearable that I started looking for reasons to enter a trade that wasn't there. I didn't wait for the market to come to my level. I started chasing the market into the tall grass. I was like a gardener who keeps pulling a seed out of the dirt every 5 minutes to see if it has started growing yet. Listen to the silence of your room right now. Can you handle the quiet? Can you sit with your hands folded while the market does nothing interesting? If you cannot handle the boredom of the wait, then you are not yet a trader. You are just a person waiting for a distraction. In this episode, we are going to talk about the architecture of waiting. We are going to learn why the greatest weapon in your arsenal isn't your technical strategy. It is your ability to stay perfectly still while everyone else is running in circles. The second phase of the silent killer is the most deceptive of all. I call it the almost setup. This is that dangerous moment when the market is nearly at your key level. The trend is almost confirmed by your indicators. The price is almost touching your Fibonacci retracement or your support zone. To a disciplined professional, an almost setup is exactly the same as nothing. But to an impatient mind, an almost setup looks like a golden opportunity that is about to slip away. Impatience tricks your brain into filling in the missing pieces. It is a psychological phenomenon where your desire for action overrides your visual evidence. You start telling yourself stories. Well, it's only 2 pips away. If I wait for it to hit the exact line, I might miss the big move. I'll just get in now and get an even better price. You convince yourself that being proactive is the same as being smart. In my engineering days, close enough was a phrase that led to structural collapse. If a support beam was half an inch off its mark, the entire integrity of the roof was compromised. We didn't anticipate that the bolt would fit. We measured it until we were certain. Yet, when I sat in front of the charts, I allowed myself to believe that close enough was a shortcut to wealth. I was trying to front run my own strategy, thinking I was outsmarting the market. I cannot count how many times I entered a trade 10 or 20 pips early because I was bored and anxious. And almost every single time, the market would deliver a painful reminder of why the rules existed in the first place. The price would dip further, hit my stop loss, which was now in the wrong place because of my poor entry, and then, only after I was stopped out, it would turn around and roar toward my original target. I wasn't wrong about the direction, I was simply wrong about the timing. My impatience turned a winning idea into a losing trade. Impatience is the thief that steals your precision. It forces you to play a frantic game of catch-up. When you enter early, your risk-to-reward ratio is instantly ruined. Your psychology is shaky from the start because you know, deep down, that you have cheated on your own plan. You must realize that the market does not reward anticipation, it rewards confirmation. Imagine a professional sniper or lion hunting in the tall grass. They do not jump when the target is almost close enough. They wait for the moment of absolute certainty, even if they have to remain motionless for hours under a burning sun. If the lion jumps too early, it goes hungry. In trading, if you jump too early, you bleed capital. We must learn to value the boredom of the perfect setup more than the excitement of the almost one. There is a physical side to impatience that we rarely talk about. A condition I call ticker syndrome. It is the compulsive, almost magnetic need to stay glued to the screen once a trade is live. It is the belief that if you stare hard enough at the flickering green and red numbers, you can somehow influence the direction of the market with your sheer will. You become a prisoner of the 1-minute chart, watching every single tick as if it were a matter of life and death. When I was an engineer, once the concrete was poured into the forms, I walked away. I trusted the laws of chemistry and physics to do their work over the next 28 days. I didn't sit in a lawn chair for 24 hours a day staring at the foundation, waiting for it to harden. I knew that my presence wouldn't make the molecules bond any faster. But in trading, I lost that perspective. I would find myself hunched over my desk for 6 hours straight, my eyes bloodshot from the blue light, watching the price fluctuate up and down in a meaningless dance. Every time the price moved a few pips against me, I felt a sharp jolt of cortisol, a tiny stab of panic in my gut. Every time it moved in my favor, I felt a shallow hit of dopamine. I was no longer a professional trader, I was a slave to the noise. Impatience makes you a micromanager of chaos. It forces you to interfere with trades that are actually working perfectly fine. You see a small, healthy pullback, a completely natural part of any market trend, and because you are watching it tick by tick, you panic. Your impatience screams that the trade is failing. To stop the pain of uncertainty, you close the position for a tiny, insignificant profit. Then, an hour later, you have to endure the agony of watching the market soar for another 100 pips exactly where you thought it would go. You were right, but your inability to sit still robbed you of your reward. This is how the silent killer works. It doesn't always blow your account in one giant explosion. It bleeds you to death through 1,000 small, impatient cuts. It robs you of your big winners and leaves you with only your small gains and full losses. Mathematically, you cannot survive this. Listen to the sound of your mouse clicking right now. Is it the sound of a calculated executive decision? Or is it the sound of a nervous habit? To survive the long game, you must build what I call a psychological buffer between yourself and the screen. You must learn to set your alerts, verify your targets, and then walk away. The market is a slow-cooking meal. If you keep opening the oven door every 30 seconds to check on the roast, the heat escapes, the temperature drops, and the meal is ruined. Impatience is the hand that cannot stop opening the door. The ultimate test of a trader's patience isn't a fast, crashing market. It is a slow market. There are days, sometimes entire weeks, where the market feels like a graveyard. There is no volume, no volatility, and no clear direction. The price just drifts in a narrow, meaningless sideways line of indecision. For a person who has left a structured career to trade, or for someone who is desperate to prove they can make a living from the screen, these slow days feel like a personal insult. During these periods of stagnation, impatience evolves into its most dangerous form, overtrading. You begin to feel a frantic pressure that you must make money every single day to justify your existence as a trader. You start looking at lower and lower time frames, searching for action in the noise. You begin trading currency pairs or assets you've never studied. You start applying strategies you've never tested, all because you are bored, restless, and terrified of standing still. I've seen more trading accounts destroyed in low volatility environments than during market crashes. In a crash, people are naturally alert and cautious. But in a slow market, people are bored, and a bored trader is a dangerous trader. I remember one summer when the markets were completely dead. I had gone 3 full days without a single valid setup. I felt useless. I felt like I was failing my family. So, I forced a trade on a Tuesday afternoon just to feel productive. It was a terrible setup. A D grade trade at best. But I convinced myself it was good enough. I lost that trade. Then, I grew angry, not at the market, but at myself for losing on such a pathetic setup. To fix the mistake, I immediately took another trade, doubling my position size to get it back. By the end of that boring day, I had lost more money than I usually did during a highly volatile week. I had committed the ultimate sin. I tried to manufacture opportunity where none existed. I had failed to realize a fundamental truth: cash is a position. Sitting on the sidelines with your capital intact is a massive victory on a slow day. As an engineer, I would never dream of starting a construction project in the middle of a typhoon. Nor would I start pouring concrete if the materials hadn't been delivered. I would wait for the right conditions. I would respect the environment. We must learn to treat the slow days not as wasted time, but as a gift. It is a time for rest, for deep study, and for sharpening your tools. The market is not a traditional employer who pays you for the hours you sit in your chair. It is a predator that pays you exclusively for your patience and your timing. When the silent killer tries to tell you that a slow day is a lost day, remind yourself that your greatest edge in this game is knowing exactly when not to play. We have walked through the restless itch in the bones, the deceptive trap of the almost setup, the frantic addiction to the ticker, and the hidden danger of the slow days. We have seen how impatience, the silent killer, tries to rush the curing process of our success, cracking the very foundation we are trying to build. So, how do we finally defeat this enemy? How do we build the architecture of waiting? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in your perspective. You must stop seeing yourself as a participant in the market and start seeing yourself as an observer. A participant feels a constant, heavy pressure to be involved in every move, to catch every swing, and to be productive every hour. But a Zen observer only acts when the environment matches their criteria with 100% precision. In my engineering days, I learned that the strongest structures are those that have dampers, mechanisms designed to absorb the vibration of the wind or the shock of an earthquake so the building doesn't snap. In trading, your patience is your psychological damper. It allows the noise, the almost setups, and the slow days to blow past you without moving your hand or shaking your resolve. When you master the art of patience, you gain a superpower that 95% of traders will never possess: the perspective of time. You are no longer rushing to get rich by Friday afternoon. You are looking at the next year, the next 5 years, the next decade. When your time horizon is long, a single boring day or a missed opportunity doesn't matter. You realize that the market is a fountain that has been flowing for 100 years and will continue to flow long after you are gone. It is not going anywhere. To the silent killer, time is an enemy that must be beaten. To the professional trader, time is an ally that filters out the weak. Tonight, before you close your eyes, I want you to visualize yourself sitting in front of your screen tomorrow. See the candles moving. See an almost setup forming. Looking so tempting, so close. Feel that familiar, restless itch in your fingers, and then see yourself taking a deep, slow breath and simply folding your arms. See yourself closing the laptop with a smile, leaving the market to play its chaotic games without you. Feel the immense peace in that choice. That is the feeling of a professional. That is the sound of a foundation that will never crack. You have conquered the third enemy, and in doing so, you have become the master of your own time. I am WalkAlone. Thank you for staying with me through this fourth step of our 60-day journey. We have faced fear, we have faced greed, and now we have survived impatience. Tomorrow, we move into a new territory. We will stop talking about the enemies outside and start building the systems of survival from within. Sleep well, protect your foundation, and stay strong. We will walk again tomorrow.